We're starting. Not that it changes anything.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, yeah, YouTube picked up on it right away.
Okay. Very good.
Send the tweet out to all our followers.
I was looking at the downforce rating that Pirelli gave the Red Bull ring.
Yeah.
I just was interested to see. It's a 3, like it's in the middle, right? Because that was really the last time that we saw Ferrari with pace that was superior to Red Bull. Not that we need to jump into it this second, but
Let me just
maybe we do. Maybe we
I
do.
think we jump right into it.
I think we do jump right.
Let me just on the technical side of things here. Let me make sure everything's working.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. I need to refresh myself on the grid actually right now. The grid is all over the place. I don't even know.
It says live, but it's not showing us.
It's not showing us on YouTube.
I don't know.
So we're not live.
Well, like on the back end of YouTube, it says we're live. This is riveting for.
Yeah, no, for the first
debut.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a debut. What a debut!
Oh yeah.
We don't even know if
No.
are we there. It's just a delay. There's probably just a bit of delay, and
That's exactly what it is. I put it on a minute delay.
so you're the reason that it's a delayed.
What if you say something and then I'm like, no, end the stream.
Are you? Just let me know then. Am I? What's in the box behind me? Is it like there's a bunch of shit behind me? So
Yeah, I can see your whole room.
you can see everything. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not a big deal. Whatever. There's nothing interesting.
Just clean your room next time.
Well, maybe I won't. Might be good luck.
Okay, well, dude, we're live. So welcome to F1000. This is our first.
There you go. Yeah.
We've done this behind the scenes a few times. In order, obviously we're going to produce and put out the kind of 10-minute highlight show of what the bets we decide later tonight. But here you get the raw discussion, and Mike,
The raw discussion in my room.
this is this is going to be raw. This is another just wild grid.
It's already
The
raw.
silly season continues.
Yeah, this is nuts. But you know what? So I kind of messaged you in the group. I don't think that means that we overthink things. To be completely honest, I mean, it's certainly Vegas. The bookmakers don't think that way. When you look and you just saw that the odds went live for outright win, and Max is favored to win. He's still minus money.
Already
He's starting 5, right? Sorry, I gotta look at the grid. I think I'm so confused.
Based on all the accounts I'm following, and even the F1 site doesn't have the grid up yet.
Okay, because they're trying to figure out like who's ahead of who and all that because of their timing.
And just for what it's worth, there's 2 different types of penalties being applied. There's grid place penalties, and then there's what they call just a back of the grid start.
Right.
In determining which one is more prevalent, the grid place penalties will start ahead of the back of the grid. So even if you take 20 grid place penalties, you're still going to be ahead of the guy that has a back of the grid penalty start.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
So they're trying to figure it out. I did find one article. I did find one article that said it determined the grid places. So I'll run through it here. It's Leclerc on pole, George Russell in 2, Lando in 3, Daniel Ricciardo in 4. Which
it doesn't matter.
Before I continue, they were 1-2 in Monza last year, Mike.
It doesn't
now they're
matter.
3-4. I mean, it's just a little poetic.
I know it's not though, because they're not gonna finish anywhere close to those positions. Let's be honest.
I'd be interested.
Maybe Lando. Maybe Lando finish. Maybe Lando can stay in the top 5. Maybe he can get a top 6. Maybe we'll talk about that. But like I'm not.
He might be able to hold on to points.
He's not. I don't.
No, I'm not saying podium for these guys.
No. I know.
I
You're
was on
saying
the
points.
podium last year.
I know. I get that. But this is a different car.
No,
it's a different car. It's a different car. And like we can get into it. I mean, all week, if you listen to Andreas and Norris and Danny, like all they did the entire week at McLaren is talk about how they don't have the top end speed to keep up.
Right.
And then Lando admitted, like he had some really good times in his he qualified well, and he had some good free practice times, but one of those, they acknowledged themselves that he just threw down like a monster lap. And there were a lot of reasons in practice 2 and 3 that some of the faster cars didn't like get close to that like 120, 119 range.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like you'd have to convince me. We can talk about it, but you'd have to convince me if you're interested in sprinkling on McLaren
Oh,
to do anything beyond to do anything beyond what we've seen them do, right? Like I could never bet on Daniel Ricciardo at this point because I think he's just doesn't care.
No,
And
unless it's fading him somehow.
Unless it's fading, I agree. Unless it's okay. I mean, if he's starting 4, you might have an opportunity to fade him. Actually, we'll have to see what the books give you. I would fade him. Let's see.
If I was Vegas, I would be minus money that he's out of the points.
Yeah, but I'd still take minus money on that.
To be fair to Lando,
talk. We don't. Yeah,
he did qualify based on time. He was P7 and Ricciardo was P8. That's probably where the McLaren should be.
Should be. I agree with that.
Maybe
and I think
the Alpines, but the Alpines seem to struggle today.
Yeah, the Alpines seem to struggle. Well, it looked like Alonso. So Alonso didn't get his final lap in, right? And so
deleted.
It got deleted. Yeah, it got deleted. So I think that is favorable in terms of we like the Alpines. We like the Alpines. We like the race pace of the Alpine. Ocon has been weird all year with how he's qualified. Like he seems to struggle to get the most out of his car with 1 lap time, but then he has good race pace. Like he's always had good race pace. So I wouldn't take I guess this is I kind of mentioned this before, but my mentality coming into the Italian Grand Prix is it's not going to be much different than what we've seen before. And I think, all week you heard everybody talking about how Spa was a good comparable. I still think that's true. I do think it's true.
To be honest, Mike, even with these penalties, the grid ends up very comparable. You had a Ferrari starting at the back.
Yeah, you did.
Leclerc in 15 ended up into the top 6. Now you've got Sainz, looks like he's slotting in at 18. So a little bit more work to do to get into that top 6. Yep. You had a Red Bull starting at the back with Max. He ended up winning the race. Max is in 7th. That's not the back. It's not 14th, but he definitely wins this race from 7th.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
So you
just made like
Ocon was the other one. Ocon started in 16th, finished in the points in 7th. He's in 14th again, and again it's just penalties. All these same drivers taking engine penalties again.
Similar penalties, right? Similar. So do you not agree? Like I think that it's pretty obvious that everybody, the cat's out of the bag in terms of strategy. Like everybody knows that this is the track to take these penalties on, clearly, because it's not difficult to overtake, and if you have superior equipment and better strategy than your competitors, and you think your drivers are better, then you're going to make up those grid positions. Like, what do you start? Like a 1/10 of a second behind? The grid is really not that big a deal when you think about it, especially somewhere like this where passing is not difficult, right?
So, couple of things there. The fact that the first turn is a chicane, I think grid does matter a little bit more. It's not like we've got a 5th gear fast turn where that one guy can go around the outside or the inside line. Zandvoort was kind of like that.
Yeah.
They really get bunched up. So I'm worried about contact in the first turn. The other thing, they talked about this a lot, Mike, and I don't really know the implication. I saved this to talk to you about it on the show.
Yeah.
They mentioned that they repaved the part of the track, or they said the track, but they only did the racing line. So on the racing line, which on the grid is the left side, has fresh asphalt, which the reason they did it was the old asphalt was very bumpy. So in those braking zones, it just wore down the tires more. So now we got half the grid on a brand new asphalt, clean, easy on the tires, and then you've got the other half that's trying to make something happen in a turn 1 chicane, where we even saw in the practice sessions, a couple guys went down the inside, they locked up on their tires. So I don't know. Does this make it mean that it's going to be harder to overtake because you have to go off the racing line, which is then not as clean, and you're not going to be able to be the late breaker, or does it mean that it's easier to overtake because you defend on the
you're probably it all becomes relative to the cars that are battling each other ultimately in the end. So I think you're going to have a midfield, maybe the midfield where possibly there is a bigger gap. I think it does lend maybe toward a more defensive style of driving, and cars that are going to be, we've seen them, how close they can get this year, obviously, with the wide tire wall. Yeah. Like, you're probably going to have some really good battles, which is great. Like, you're right. You could be right. Maybe it's not as easy to overtake as possibly it has been in the past. I think that's a fair concession. But I still think that you've got, pretty discernible top 6 in terms of equipment. And the midfield, even in the midfield, like we've talked about it, the McLaren seems to be a bit more of a downforce-oriented car. And the Alpine has proven itself pretty well on every circuit so far as being a superior piece of equipment. Like, we could get into we'll get into a conversation about where you think the Tories and the and the Aston Martin's finish.
I don't trust him. It's the what have you done for me lately? What have you
Well,
done for me all
I'm
year?
not saying I want to put any money on them. Yeah, I'm not
Right.
saying I want to put any money on
Right.
them. Like I wouldn't be able to. Certainly wouldn't even entertain the Alfa Romeo. But okay, so how about this? We're kind of bleeding into. I mentioned? I gotta try to find it. I mentioned to you. So okay, three safety cars at Monza in the last 10 races. 2 virtual safety cars. There's been 37 retirements this year. So like there's a lot of retirements this year. Obviously that has to do with, it seems like the Ferrari power unit is like
Yep.
half of those are because of the Ferrari power unit, depending on which car is blowing up, right? But I was looking at before they released all the odds. I think I had sent to you in the text group, like maybe we look at entertaining no virtual safety car. What I think the conservative bet, and let me just put this out there for now. So you've got a number of cars that have new units, which means that in theory that lowers the odds for some sort of technical issue that would prevent a car from classifying at the end of the race, right? In theory.
Again, I could make a case the other way. Devil's advocate. Do they?
Yeah.
It's new parts going into a car. Do they connect them properly? Does it lead to a hydraulic issue? I don't know. You assume that these engineers know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
do they?
I mean, well, they
We've
do
seen a
know
lot
what
of
they-
these types of
They
issues.
know what they're doing. I think they obviously know what they're doing. I guess my point is the when we talk about half of those, like when I made the joke about half of those retirements being one of the Ferrari power units blowing up, like that's probably not even a joke. It's probably accurate.
I was going to come back to this. They gave us
Yeah.
that out this weekend. The 3 teams with the least, let me get it right, the least laps completed were all Ferrari power units. Ferrari,
Yeah, so-
Haas, and then obviously the Alfa Romeo.
This is what I'm setting up. I'm teeing up. Fuck, what did I'm losing it on my phone here. What I'm teeing up is a -1. I think it was -150 bet for taking the over on 17.5 classified drivers. If you want to
Okay.
take a look at that, so I think it's total classified drivers on the book.
Is that out
right?
now?
That was out. That's always been out. They haven't changed. There was no
Total
connection to
classified
qualifying.
drivers. The 3-way or not?
Not the 3-way over. I think it's an over under. Is it
Over-
total?
So what do you like?
I like over 17.5. Right. So you okay? Sure. Maybe two cars go out of the race. Right. That's fine. Like I mean, that can happen in a minor crash, a solo crash. Right. Now, the reason I'm saying that, the reason I think that they're giving those are the best odds there. I think it's like what -140 something like that, or
Yeah,
one
138.
yeah -138. So the book is acknowledging, I think, that this rash of grid penalties being taken and new components going in would seem to suggest that you're probably having a lower probability of a technical error that leads to a vehicle not classifying. The risk of running into each other always exists, but we kind of talked about this before earlier in the week too. And maybe, well, I gave you some of the few safety cars you normally see at this track, which would seem to have a connection back to a low rate of crashes happening at this track. I mean, we know there was one last year, and it happens.
Recency
Obviously,
bias last year for sure.
I know, but it doesn't. So it clearly it doesn't happen all that often, and I think there's a good reason for it. I mean, it's not a complex track. You maintain high speed a lot of the time, and
85% of the lap is full throttle.
yeah, which
I gotta be
means
honest,
that
Mike.
there's-
I'm not sure I'm seeing that the same way. I mean, Spa. Okay, Spa's our most recent example of everyone taking new engines, taking the penalties.
Yeah.
There was 2 DNFs. Bottas was power related.
Yeah.
Lewis took damage and
Lewis took
DNF.
damage, yeah.
So I don't know. So that would be 18. You're right.
Yeah, and that's it's a much more complex circuit. That's a much more complex circuit for sure. You have to, like, with the undulation changes.
Yeah,
there's
but it
a
doesn't
lot.
have the chicanes.
Why are you so worried about the chicanes? You think that they just present? So okay,
They
before
present- the cars
Yeah,
are
but
bigger. They're more
do-
sluggish
do
this
they?
year. The sight lines are the drivers are having a harder time seeing each other.
Yeah.
I just feel like we've had way more contact this year than in previous years.
well,
And a lot of-
37 retirements up until this point of the year would suggest.
And-
I agree.
and I'm not sure we've had as an unreliable power unit as the Ferrari has been, and then you've got a track that it's been warm this weekend.
No, I know. Yeah, but my point is,
you're
so
full throttle,
yeah.
85%.
No,
I get it that
totally.
there's new parts, and new parts in theory should be more reliable, but I don't know. There's still new parts going into a car that is then going to go 85% full out on them for 2 hours tomorrow.
Okay, just answer me this question then. What would you think there's a higher probability of the power unit in one of the Haas's or the Alfa Romeos or the Ferraris blowing up after 5 races have elapsed, or 1 race?
Definitely after 5 races.
Okay.
Yes, you're right.
So like, this would support the point that there's a lower probability
I guess
the
my-
cars
my-
are going to blow up.
My point is
at the
that
very least.
they've brought in new parts on the most stressful track on those parts. This is the most stressful track on the power unit.
Well, no, I think Mexico. You've already said like you think that it's Mexico. Yeah, I know. I agree with. I agree with. Right. And okay,
but
so
it's the full throttle. They're 85% of the.
I understand.
Tomorrow they're full throttle.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing for an engine? I'm not an engineer. Like I'm not.
Be more aware on the engine.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's just something they say a lot about. Running your car is better than not running your car. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you mean? Like,
okay.
So I know this. I'm not an engineer, but engines are designed to run, right? So that probably reducing speed, increasing speed, reducing speed, increasing speed. That might be more complicated for an engine than maintaining speed. Maybe. This is just, buddy. We might be getting into a conversation here that is totally irrelevant. But
no, I know. Okay, let's table. I mean, I don't
table it. Just table it. Like there's a reason. There's a reason why it's minus 140. Yeah,
I definitely came in leaning more that there's going to be issues tomorrow than not. And I think a big part of that is
that's fine.
They're just
then
it's again like show me that everyone can finish the race, and maybe also we have a rookie driver, not just a rookie at this track. We have Nick DeVries in a Williams that's already unreliable.
He can smash everybody. The car's not even. He's a short little guy. Albin's a tall guy. They got to fix it. He might not even be able to. He might not even be able to see over the steering wheel. We don't know.
His own seat. Right? They gave him a seat, Mike. Come on.
Imagine. He's sitting on phone books. Damn
it, Latif.
Yeah.
No, Albon. Both their drivers are tall. So for those that didn't catch it, just while we're on it, Albon got appendicitis. He did need to get his appendix out this morning.
Did you see his tweet?
I didn't mean to laugh at that. I did see his tweet. Yeah, cool scars, and he got lighter. And
he's lighter. Singapore. I love that. That's actually I really like. I like. So Albon, I don't think has the mentality to be one of the top constructors, but he's a really
perfect
good.
At Williams.
He's a really good racer. Like I think. Yeah. He's perfect for Williams. He would be good for any of those like bottom 3 or 4 teams. He's a really good. He's a very good driver. He's a very good driver.
Ricardo. He would have been good at McLaren.
He would have been great at McLaren.
Yeah.
I think so, at the very least. What do we? Did they release the?
I keep looking. I keep refreshing.
Yeah, and I don't know. Did you see? Sometimes F1 will put out the race simulation pace after qualifying. I don't know if you've.
Oh.
I'm gonna check to see if they
on their branded website.
On their branded website, sometimes they'll have it's like a qualifying report, and it'll tell you what the race simulation pace is based on the qualifying times.
Okay, I never finished the grid. We stopped.
we just started talking. Yeah,
we stopped at Alonso.
Yeah.
Who else is important? Okay, so Max is in 7th. We obviously Vegas sees him winning. We see him winning.
Yeah.
So Nick DeVries, great qualifying. He starts in 8th. Where did he actually pace-wise? Pace-wise, he was 13th.
Yeah,
he gets bumped up to 8th with the penalties. That's pretty good. Ocon's 14. Bottas is 15. Magnussen 16. Mick is 17. And then Sainz is 18. Hamilton's 19. So that was huge for the Ferrari. I mean, great qualifying day for the Ferrari. For them to get Charles on pole was the ultimate goal. We saw Sainz towing him every qualifying session.
Yeah,
but for
let's keep that in mind. Like that was they wanted to give their fans something, right? They did.
Well, for sure, and it makes total sense. Carlos has the penalty, so why wouldn't he assist?
Of course,
and give Charles the tow. I did find this interesting though. They weren't that far apart on their. Yeah, I'm so disorganized on my notes. It was.
No, they were tight. They were tight.
Even when he gave him the tow, it was like 8/10.
It's only worth about, they said, like 0.2 of a second ultimately in the end or something like that? Or it's not, the tow is not, I don't think it's as significant as it has been in recent years here. That was my understanding based on what I was reading and seeing with some of the finishing times. And Sergio, just keep in mind, we know Sergio was back. He didn't tow Max at all. Did he?
I just assumed that they did. No, they would have done the other way around because Max was taking the penalties.
No, Sergio's way back there. What do you mean?
Oh wait, they both took penalties.
Yeah, like Max is at 7, but Sergio's at the back of the grid.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's 13.
He's 13. Sorry, he's 13. He's 13. Yeah.
Although I just again Checo, it's like show me you can do it.
I don't
show
know
me you haven't fallen off for the year.
I don't know. I mean, I know. I'm on you. I'm with you on that. I completely. Well, so maybe let's state Ferrari. You mentioned so they have a circuit specific wing. Right, so they spent probably all year waiting to deploy this wing at Monza.
Yep.
The car clearly is a more downforce-oriented car. They've made the change. It looks like it's paying off. I don't think I need to convince you that Max is a better car. Again, so let's just like look at that. So great for Ferrari,
Yeah.
right? That's great. That
But
Charles
we
was on.
still think Red Bull has the pace here.
So I don't know if you saw Max said after qualifying. He literally told I can't remember who he was talking to, but so he said we chose to go for a little bit more downforce around here over one lap. Maybe it's not best, but tomorrow it should be strong. Right? So they went with a downforce setup, a more downforce oriented setup in qualifying.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Right? And you can't help but think that like it's almost like a perfect storm for anybody who wants to take a Ferrari tomorrow. That you've got. I mean, Max is like the book's not like stupid. They know. I'll put it this way. So, like there's the pit wall is maybe the biggest gap between Red Bull and Ferrari is not the vehicle and it's not the driver. It's the pit wall. Because the pit wall and the team principal, like that is where there is the biggest gap that Ferrari needs to make up, and they're not doing that this year.
I think
it's
you're
not
spot
happening.
on. Sainz,
right?
Was he 11, 12 seconds in the pit? I mean, that's a small example. We're talking
well, that's just one thing.
Way,
like that's
way above the pit stop. Yeah.
Yeah, not tire guns that are being left in the pit. Like, you know what I mean? Not the lack of accountability that apparently exists at Ferrari. If you just keep reading about it, which is bizarre because you think that they're Italians. Like they hold people accountable for things they don't even do most of the time. So, like it's just I don't know that to me like it's not. I don't think so when we talk about we cannot turn down an opportunity to take some sort of Max Verstappen win bet here. I don't know if it's a win and best lap. That might not be the way to do it. I think it's just what is he minus 140 to win?
Minus 138. Do you know
what's podium? What's his podium on?
They don't have podiums out yet.
They don't have
is there
podiums,
any
okay.
way? Do you know, or can we find who's used what tires? Because the past couple of weeks, there's been a very consistent trend, and I think that you've just kind of you've touched upon it a little bit there. Every week, Ferrari seems to have one less set of new soft tires than Max does, and I think what we're seeing here is Red Bull's really, and again, these are new tires this year. They're bigger. They just perform differently than last year. I think Red Bull has figured them out a lot quicker than Ferrari has.
He was out. So Max was out on. So Max, I don't know if you'd noticed this, but a lot of times in the practice sessions and even in qualifying, like Max goes out on used tires. Like he doesn't go out on a lot of fresh sets. And I think that's clearly like Red Bull knows that they have superior equipment. They can qualify strongly without wasting supply.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's like investing when you have a lot of money. Like it's a self-perpetuating thing. Like they have a really good equipment and they know that they can just probably still qualify very strongly even on used tires. So that I think shows an even more significant gap in the superiority of the car versus even the Ferrari, right? Ultimately in the end.
Right.
They know that they can go out on used tires and set a good time.
Well, and so that's where I'm thinking maybe the fastest lap with Max does potentially make sense if he's the only one that has that extra set of softs at the end.
That's an interesting point, Chaps. Like I like that. That's some
And
That's
then
the next level thinking.
So
That's the next level thinking. Yeah.
Well, we've seen it the last two races. There's a random safety car late in the race, and then they start talking, oh, Max has a fresh set of softs, Ferrari doesn't, and they're going on to use mediums.
If there's a safety car. Let's not, okay, so let's okay, well, like, you seem to think differently than I do.
Well,
but
just before we
don't use that as your logic. Yeah, try to, he can just make it. It's one change. It's one pit stop, right? So is that when it happens?
I'm saying over the course of the race, if he's got an extra set of softs that can be part of their strategy, or an extra set of mediums that can be part of their strategy, and now coupled with the fact that they've gone with more downforce, which to me tells me they're trying to manage tire degradation in tomorrow's race.
Big time.
They hurt themselves in the qualifying lap. So all this is telling me in the past couple of races where just as it's turned out, Red Bull did have the set of tires that was required for that strategy in that moment.
Yeah.
Everything that they're doing here is saying we're just going to win this race by having better tires. And I'm gonna caveat. I'm gonna step off into a thought. The pit lane here, Mike, is so important. The fact that it's along the main straight, the pit loss here, the delta between the speed that you can go on the pit lane versus the speed that they're achieving on that main straight.
It's one of the most significant.
So drastic and significant. So this has to be a one-stop race for the teams.
Yeah.
Any sort of surprise graining, my front right is going into lap 5. that is going to be
Well,
detrimental.
and any struggle in the
Any
pit.
struggle.
Any struggle in the pit, right? And
So-
we know, oh my God, like he can't even get
All
started
this
on
is just saying Ferrari, I think, has already nailed the strategy. They're
Yeah.
focused on the tires. Tomorrow needs to be a one-stop race. They might stop. I mean, Max might take the lead of this race before his first pit stop. He probably does. Just
I
because
think
he's
he does.
going long.
I think he does too. Like I think he does too. And actually, to your point, he's in 7, right? He's on the left. He's
7.
on the odd side of the grid,
Yeah.
right? So he's starting on that new tarmac too.
I don't know where is Pole on the inside or the outside.
I think it's on the outside. I thought it was on the outside. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I don't know. No, I don't know. So
Yeah.
I didn't.
I don't know why. I don't know why I thought it was on the outside.
I
to be
didn't
honest.
qualify Pole in my test run in the virtual game.
In your oh, here we go.
No.
What did you see when you were on track?
So Monza,
What did you qualify? What position were you in?
I was 4th out of 13. So
So you
not
were on
bad.
the ins. Were you on the? So you were on the inside, or the outside? Where'd you start? Tell us.
I'm trying to think of that race specifically, Mike. I played a bunch, and it's never Pole.
You were only supposed to do Monza.
No,
What do
a
you-
bunch at Monza, dude. Monza
yeah.
is the public favorite. If it comes up in the vote,
Yeah,
we're
everybody rips it,
100%
yeah.
going to Monza, and then
Everybody rips Monza.
Everyone is so fast.
Yeah,
Everyone
because
knows it.
they're just flying. Yeah.
Well, it's also a nothing track. It's just straights, and then. But that's why I'm so focused on the chicane. Probably F1
Yeah.
public lobbies. you don't make
guys
it
are
through-
just slamming into each other.
You
Yeah.
don't make it through the first chicane.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you're starting.
Yeah. So okay, can I just maybe we'll go back to that point. You're worried about the chicane, but you're worried about the chicane because guys seem to smash into you on an F1 video game.
Yeah, maybe.
Like it might be a little bit different with the actual professional drivers on the track.
No, you're right, and that was kind of patronizing a little bit. So where I'm forgetting, last year McLaren won,
Yeah.
and Lewis Max drove on top of Lewis's head.
Yes.
Where the hell on the track was that?
It was one of the chicanes.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
right.
was.
No, it was the turn 1 chicane. Fucking idiot.
Okay, you know what? That doesn't exist this year. Okay, at the very least, I'll say that it doesn't exist this year. There's not 2 guys out there trying to kill each other at the very least.
Where are they?
Fine, we tabled
Lewis,
it. We tabled
you're
it.
right.
We
Lewis is
tabled
too
it.
far back. Lewis
He's
is
too far.
back.
He can't kill him. He can't even catch him. Actually, won't
I'm
even
not.
be able to.
I keep coming back to it. I'm not saying I'm putting money on someone to crash or DNF, but Carlos and Lewis starting right beside each other again. They touched on the first lap.
I
of the
know.
last race.
I actually can't believe
These
that
guys,
they.
they're magnets. I don't know. I don't know.
I understand where you're coming from.
So, do we like the Mercedes, Mike? Because they had a bit of a mixed weekend.
No. So this is the hard thing about Mercedes is,
George is P2 on the grid.
yeah, there's been several acknowledgments from the Mercedes camp that, okay, and we know this is like the McLaren, like, well, I mean, it's a superior car to the McLaren, but we know that it's a vehicle, it's a car that succeeds on downforce oriented track, has a more difficult time on some of the ones where there's more straight line speed required. Like it's not a secret. And Toto Wolff talked about it. George talked about it. And so you know what? Actually, George was talking about having a lot of time, very slippery. He said it was very slippery out there. To me, what that seems to that is a car that relies on generating downforce to get traction. Right? It seems
Spot on.
to be,
And they don't
right?
have it, so he's
and
still
then
around.
there's not an opportunity for it, right?
Yeah.
Just to be by virtue of the track. So I mean, like there might is there a bet where we can factor in the reliability and get him in, and maybe we take a top 10. Maybe there's once they release the odds for the top 10s.
The top
maybe
10,
we look
top
at it.
6 is where we really kind of
Yeah, like their race pace. I mean, it's not like I'm not concerned that they're going to be slower than the midfield teams. I'm a little bit.
Does Lewis? I guess the question is, does Lewis get ahead of the McLarens and the Alpines? That's probably
I think that
his target.
he's yeah. I think he's gonna get ahead of. He's gonna get ahead of Danny Ricciardo wherever Ricciardo falls to, because Danny's gonna fall.
Do we see another finish here where it's just clearly the top 3 teams are the top 6?
I don't know if it's going to
probably
be
Ferrari or Red Bull, Ferrari, Red
yeah.
Bull,
So
Mercedes. Red
I will
Bull,
concede.
Mercedes.
I will concede that I think that there's an opportunity for maybe the McLarens and so Fernando Alonso and for Norris to finish. How many times have they finished in the top 6? It's been very few times that they finished. So only one podium for anybody outside of those 3 teams, which was Lando Norris. And I would be very surprised if like there's been even 5 top 6s by any of the by the Alpines or by the McLarens.
You would be surprised probably because the last 3 of the last 4, Alonso was in the top 6. Alonso's on a 10-race scoring streak.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal, and I think actually, so I'm to be honest with him, so he's qualified 7th. What was
He's
his
starting 6th.
Sorry, he's not.
He
He's
qualified
6th. Yeah,
10th,
Max is
10th
behind
on
him. Max
pace,
is
and he's
behind.
starting
Yeah.
6th.
Okay. I don't know if there's any value there, to be honest.
There could be value. He falls outside of the prove it to me before I put money on you, but Gasly looked quick today. And the Red Bull power unit, we know it's fast here. The problem is he's just so unreliable as a driver this year.
I don't mind that. I don't.
Fifth.
I don't. To be honest, I don't really mind that. I mean, I know that. So the race simulation pace that the Alpha was showing was superior even to the Alpine at one point, or in line with the Alpine.
He outqualified.
So he just needs to keep Ocon behind him. So he needs to keep Ocon behind him. I don't think he does that.
He's got Alonso right behind him. Ocon's in 14th.
He's not going to keep Alonso behind him. It's fine. But so when you start,
you don't think so? He outqualified Alonso today.
No, but it just doesn't seem like they have the ability to sustain that.
And Alonso got it deleted. You're right.
True. Yeah, he's probably fast. He's probably fast. Actually, and when you but Ocon, I don't know. See, Ocon.
So that's the Alpine in the top 6 then. That's Alonso in the top 6 right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I came into this my lean with the Alpines, and I was, full disclosure, people, I was looking for an Alpine bet because they've been consistent. We just said Alonso's 10 straight points finishes. I think they're 5 straight double points finishes for the team.
Yeah.
The consistency is on fire. I was leaning both of them top 10 might get us some odds because Ocon is so far out, starting in 14. We got to wait for the odds to go up. But if that ends up as a plus money bet, I would feel pretty good.
Well, it doesn't even have to be a plus money bet, man. It doesn't have to be plus money.
We like the implication that Vegas is somewhat justifying that lean. Then
I to be honest, I love it when that happens.
I know
that to me that type of reassurance.
I know. I'm looking for the dogs.
Yeah, but I know you got to that's not what this is about.
Hey,
it's $1,000.
Lando exact 7th last week at plus 800.
I know that was something
that we like.
I know that was something that I just. Oh my god.
Does he finish 7th again, Mike?
Does he finish 7th again?
Do we just ride it until it's not true?
Until it ever happens again?
We could lose it. We could lose it 7 more times before we break even.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
He is the 7th. He's the 7th guy on this grid. We've got the top 6. Okay, I don't know. Well, it's him or Alonso, I guess, or you could say 7, 8.
Okay, hold on. So let's reset here. I'm gonna need you to talk me through the grid again, to be honest. Okay. Because I just need to reset. I want to see if they have the actual pace, simulated pace. Guys. Yeah, you can give me the important guys.
The F1 site still hasn't posted the grid, but maybe they don't do that until the grid actually takes off. The lights go out.
Yeah, it could be.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Fernando just has the tire blankets on and oh crap, I guess you're starting from the pit this time. Last second. It could easily happen. Right? It could easily happen. You might have Leclerc could be at the back of the grid, buddy. Is that Hungary? That was Hungary and he still got to the points. No,
it was Canada.
Canada where he had the tire blankets?
I think it was Canada. Yeah.
I forget.
When he had the skate he left his skate guards on?
Alonso. He left the skate guards on.
Holy shit.
Or no, he had an issue in Spain. It might have been Spain. One time his engine didn't start, and one time they had the tire blankets on.
Yeah, I don't know. And he started from the pit line both times or something like that. Yeah.
What are you looking for right now?
I just want to. Sometimes they give what the race pace simulation is based on qualifying. That's all I was looking for. But I've got. They have practice data that usually does a pretty good job of projecting out what the race pace looks like.
Right.
I don't mind this. I would like to see some of the group bets with Pierre in them. I don't mind this Gasly bet. I don't know.
I like the power unit. He's been fast all week.
I like
the power unit. Good pace today.
I don't mind him.
Can he keep it clean?
As a
Who's
driver?
Around him? So he's fit. Yeah. Alonso's not going to have any issue with him. Who's above him? Ricciardo.
He's going to eat up Danny Ricciardo in a second, to be honest.
I hope he eats him up and doesn't
run into him. Yeah, I mean, I understand that for sure. What else have I got here? We're not even going to touch. Is there any point in talking about?
I think
Are we at all?
there.
Oh, am I
No,
back?
you're back.
Okay.
What, for
Are
him
we
to finish in the points or something? To win? The only
To win. What's his odds? What are his odds? What are his odds to win? I need to see. What are his odds to win?
They have the fastest car. They have the fastest car outright.
I know, it's wild.
Wow, there's so many zeros. 200,000.
You can't even. You're like, is it 2 million? Is it plus 200,000? You know what? Okay, how about this?
Hold on. Get this. He's
Yeah.
got better odds than Stroll, Vettel, Schumacher, and Magnussen.
That's actually kind of crazy.
Well, where he's starting? He's starting in
13?
the top 10, right?
He's
No.
Who? No, he's 13. 8th. Woo.
8th. De Vries.
He was 8th. Yeah, he finished. He was 13 in qualifying.
Yeah, but he starts 8th.
He's not keeping a top 10. Like he's not. He's not keeping
He
a
might
top
win.
10. He might win. I'll take you.
$5.
5. Yeah. You want it? You want it? You want a sprinkle?
What's $5 make on 200,000?
It's honestly just a waste of money.
I know.
There's no point in doing the calculation.
You know who's plus money to finish last? Like last classified is Latifi. You get plus money on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take that. That's a great bet. It's an extremely likely chance that he just finishes last. No, but he has to classify.
Yeah, but I don't think he's DNF'd all year. Yeah, he DNF'd.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he DNF'd in France.
Yeah. Or maybe another one,
He's
too.
DNF'd Saudi.
Yeah. Okay, that's the beginning of the year.
Okay, already this sheet that we put together,
Yeah. It's
so
a mess.
much better. No, what? Yeah, you made it a mess.
I made it a mess. I know.
But the fact that I can easily,
I know, you can
look
just
up
easily
when
look
the
at it.
races happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta pull that up now.
Yeah,
I
you
need to take a look.
I texted you this morning. I'm like, hey, what's going
What's
on? with
going
the sheet?
on?
Yeah. What's going
I'll
on
tell you
with the sheet?
what I was doing was I was trying to make. Okay, well maybe you could just. We're waiting for the odds to come out. Maybe you can just tell me if this makes any sense to
How
you.
about this for a production? People want to see what we're talking about.
You want to show them?
Yeah.
Okay, what I was trying to do was create essentially my own way of simulating pace, like expected race pace. And what I did was I created. I'm not going to get into all I talked about the standard deviations,
Yeah.
Z-scores, all that shit before. I'm not going to get into that. Essentially, what I was trying to do was weigh the significance of the second and third practice sessions, because the first practice session you can pretty well throw out. It's really not an indicator of overall race
Talking
pace.
about
So
practice sessions. Okay.
yeah,
Time
but
for
second and three, so 2 and 3.
practice.
So yeah, so let's think about this. So what is the weight? What do you think the impact is on your expected race pace in the race that's coming up when you factor in FP2, FP3, the 3 rounds of qualifying, if you obviously go all the way through, but your qualifying pace at the very least, and then either the last 3 races or the last 5 races, or you have it weighted. I was weighting it the last 3 races, but most significant. So it was like 50% of the significance was being given to the track with the closest downforce rating based on that
Yep.
Pirelli chart, right?
I would agree with you there.
Yeah, it was funny because I did it all. Like I did it all and projected for. I was trying to see if I would line up at the Dutch Grand Prix, if I can line up my projections with what the actual race pace was.
Okay.
It wasn't far off, but what it ended up telling me was what you think is going to happen is going to happen. I did it all, and I'm like, oh, there's no point in really doing this because maybe in particular it's this year, but what you think is going to happen, like the biggest deltas were with the biggest delta between my projected race pace and the actual race pace, which is, you hear that? Is there buzzing? Some buzzing going on? Yeah. The biggest delta was between Lance Stroll and Ocon. It was Lance Stroll and Ocon, and they were like 10 to 15%. There's like a 10 to 15% delta between my expected projected race pace and their actual race pace.
Okay.
And it was being most heavily influenced by their actual pace in the last 3 races. Even though they were, like, Ocon was getting top 10s, Stroll was finishing in 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was still playing around with it, but then I was playing around with it thinking it doesn't matter in the end because it's still giving me the same finishing order. I don't know. We can talk about it more. Like, we can talk about it more. I think there's a way that it can become helpful information.
It's a lot of numbers. I think. We've been.
It's a lot. It is a lot of numbers. Yeah,
it's a lot of numbers. I think that pace efficiency number can certainly help justify our leans.
Sure.
We got to play around with it, and if we're going to pull leans out of it.
No, I don't. Well, there's no so. To be honest, I would never want to rely purely on this because there's no context. It's the mean lap times that we're looking at.
Right.
And the mean lap times, there's so many different things. And we know when you watch a race, you see that, somebody gets stuck out on tires that they don't want to be on.
Yep.
But like think about the two Alpines on the hards in Hungary, right? Like that affected their. And so when I was looking at, I just mentioned that delta obviously between the Alpines, their expected race pace for the Dutch Grand Prix and what their actual race pace was. One of the biggest factors that was affecting my expected race pace projection was the resulting race pace in Hungary. And I'm like, well, fuck, I know that they were faster than that, or they are faster than that. They just happen to have bad strategy. It's not even bad strategy; it just didn't work out. Well, it was bad strategy. You shouldn't go on the hards.
They still got both of the points, but
they still got both of the points. So that's what I mean. So that's to me, it'll never. You could have the most perfect projection system in the world, and it'll never account for some of the things that we know happen on track that you just can't quantify. Right? You can't quantify it through mean lap time in the end.
No.
It's just not represented appropriately.
I think, you've talked about, you referenced there a couple of times, the performance in the past couple of races. I think the big thing here, Mike, that we're both realizing, and we talked about it a little bit, we're at a point in the season where we have an established grid in terms of who
big
the
time.
fastest constructor is.
Yeah, big time.
We have a clear 1, we have a clear 2, we have a clear 3. Now, there may be an argument that the 2, 3 are getting closer to each other.
I would say definitely, depending on the track. Yep, for sure.
But we know who the top 6 fastest cars on that grid are. And it's going to be the same every week. And we know that the Alpines are a reliable car. We know that the McLaren is reliable, but only one of them is quick. So I don't think we need to recreate the wheel. I think we're in a sweet spot of the year where we've seen this consistency, especially over the past couple of races. They've kind of pegged themselves into an order, so let's ride with that order.
I think you actually, from an odds perspective and from a betting perspective, you get some gifts sometimes with these types of races with a mixed-up grid. Like, you just get value inherently because the book has to give it to you if Max is starting 7, for example. Because, what you know is still relevant. Like, what we know, just based on what you said, the precedent that's been set by the races up to this point, is not different. Like, there's no real significant modifications coming. I maybe you can explain this to me because I'm not, all that adept with the one-off packages, especially with a race like Monza. Mm-hmm. But the only caveat to that, I would say is there anything to make of the specific setups that they run for Monza? Or is there going to be small deviations from the mean, essentially? Are we still talking small deviations?
I think, so in general, typically there wouldn't be any, it would be small deviations because they're all going extreme downforce. So they're all going to go in that same, if anything, this year it's going to spread the gap between Mercedes and the other two, because Mercedes, we've talked about, is out of the 3 the best at the downforce track, or the downforce suits them the most. Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think the bigger thing here is Red Bull has decided to not follow the mean.
No,
and has gone with a little bit more downforce than the other teams.
No, these guys are playing 3-dimensional chess though most of the time.
And
let's be honest.
I don't know. I'm not looking at their sim data, their projections, but I have to assume, based on their performance from a strategy perspective, the past couple of races, that they've made the right choice. That this is going to work better for them over the course of the race.
I without a doubt would put my money in the hands of Christian Horner over any other team principal, including Toto Wolff at this point. Not to say that I think that they can't figure things out, even moving forward, even into Singapore. Actually, we don't have to. We'll talk about Singapore next week, but or it's October actually, because they have to go to Russia
next
first,
race.
Right?
They're not going to Russia.
Well, they're not going to Russia, but so that's what it's a gap, right? But I think they're going to be in contention for sure with new units and everything. So
and that's why they've decided to give Lewis his new engine.
Oh, it makes
a lot of sense.
It makes total
sense.
sense.
Track, the very next race is potentially I mean, widely believed their only chance to win a race this year, or for the remainder of the year. Singapore up next, so
I think they might
give
be
them
able
the
to do
brand
it.
new engine now. Take the penalties.
I think they
and
might
give
be
them a
able to
chance.
do it. I know, I agree. But so that being said, though, I think without a doubt, and that, so I don't know. So does that translate to Checo? I guess that's the question. Is so we know that Max is the right guy to put your money on in this race. You might get like tremendous value from actually a top 3. We might even just look at podium finish and just dump on him.
A
Maybe
double
we do
podium?
that.
Oh,
No, like just dump, like just in case something weird happens. Not that I think something weird. Maybe we're just leaving money on the table if you do that. To be completely honest.
I think with Max, you don't hedge. If you told me you wanted to go on Leclerc to win,
Yeah, you
we
maybe
hedge a
give him
little
top
bit,
3.
'cause something
Maybe,
could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, Max, look at the last 3 races. He won from pole last week. The week before, won from 14th. Hungary the week before that, won from 10th. You know, Mike, I'm looking at this sheet, and this is very interesting. And you're speaking to, we know we have an established fastest team. This week, with all these penalties, is probably an opportunity for us in terms of a value perspective, because we know these teams are still going to make it into the top. There's been a few times, I'm not going to go through and detail each race, but there's been a couple of times where one of these Ferraris or Red Bulls has taken a new engine. For example, Leclerc in Canada.
Yeah.
Every single one of those, they've gone into the top 6. Between Carlos, Max, and Leclerc,
Yeah.
every time they've taken a penalty, they've gotten up into that top 6 still.
Yeah, I would be
So-
I would be very high. So I like Carlos to make a run. Like I think
Into
I
the
like
top
that
6
bet.
probably.
Into the top 6. Yeah.
He
You know what?
also he came out on Q1 his first lap. He came out on Q2. He came out on used softs. So potentially, maybe Ferrari did keep him a set. I don't know, but they made a point that his first fast lap in Q2, he was using a used set of softs.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm just gonna my charger's being weird. Give me 1
Okay.
second here.
I'm not going to pause it. We'll just go and look over on Bet365. Whoa. Yeah, Mike has a lot of background noise, huh? Or do I just not hear my noise? Okay, guys. Podium's up and top 6 is up. So Max minus 450 on the podium. Like we were just saying, I don't think it's worth hedging for Max because he's so consistent. I mean, I even go back to Hungary last year where in the first lap it was when Bottas bowled through half of the grid. Max had half a car. His right side pod was missing. He still won? No. He was top 10 for sure. Who else is interesting here?
Oh, they put him up. They put him
Signs,
up.
yeah, we're still waiting for top 10, it looks like, but we've got podium and top 6. So Max is minus, obviously, for the podium. But I was discussing with
it's not worth
our
just
chat
with the
has
air
zero
with
viewers.
You were talking with the air. Yeah.
I was talking to our viewers.
So there's no fades either. So there's no fade.
Top 6. Lewis from 19th to the top 6 is minus 350. I mean, Vegas sees this the exact same way we do, Mike.
Yeah. Well, and they have no reason not to, though, right? Like that's. So I mean, like, well, yeah. They have no reason not to. It would be interesting to. They don't have top 10 yet. Okay. Is there a top 6 bet that makes sense? I mean, I don't mind
Alonso?
the.
Or what was Gasly? Gasly 650. Alonso
No,
120.
I'm looking to get. So to be honest, I actually do like the Gasly top 10 bet. Like let's say so what I just remembered too is where did he finish? 9 behind. He couldn't catch Alonso or 10 in Spa.
What are you talking about? In Spa?
Spa. Yeah, because he started from the pit lane.
Gasly finished 8th. Oh, no, he started 8th, finished 9th.
No,
Gasly. Belgium, Spa?
where did he start from the pit lane?
That was the race before Hungary, and he finished 12th. Right behind Zhou.
Right. Maybe I'm just getting myself mixed up then. Scored in Belgium, coming from the pits. He
I
didn't
assume
come
did
from
the
the.
data entry, right?
He didn't come from the pits in Belgium. I think he might have come from the pits, dude. Hold on.
I don't know. I had him 8.
Okay. Well, I've got the stats.
But
F1
I
is
like
like this
his
hilarious
pace.
site.
He's just a driver that has not proven any sort of consistency for us or reliability.
No, I understand the the hesitation to even entertain taking him, Result by Grand Prix.
How did you leave and come back,
Belgium.
by the way? You just left the studio and came back in?
No, I just turned the cam
Oh.
off. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. 8-9
Points is up. Okay.
points are up. Let's go. What do we got here?
Pierre Gasly plus 125.
You have the points up, and I guess maybe they just have it up on the website, but they don't have it up in the app.
I'm not logged in on the website either.
Okay.
So maybe this is like the American version that gets them first.
What's is there any value for those 6 drivers top 10, or if they're all like minus 500?
I think if that's the case, I would go like with a constructor combo, both of them in the top 10. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any value. Like Lewis is minus 400, Sainz is minus.
Yeah, I would
400.
be like, can we get like Mercedes or Ferrari both top 10, like constructors top 10? Those aren't the constructors. They're not up, eh?
I don't think so, but they're coming
No.
up as we speak here. This is a great time for.
This is it's a hot time. It's a hot
Yeah.
time. But we get to have our discussion without. I like talking without having the odds
Yeah.
influence those choices initially, and then kind of like take those leans after we've had the discussion.
I agree.
And
'Cause
almost
I'll
confirm
I'll
it.
go
You
on
almost
the
get,
app,
yeah.
I'll see something plus money, and then I'll just convince myself.
Well,
That
I
makes
mean,
sense.
absolutely. That's you're looking for the dogs, man.
I'm here sniffing for the dogs.
You're looking for the dogs. I know. I get it.
Driver specials classified as last. No. Both cars classified. No. Both cars podium is up.
Both cars podium is up.
Ferrari's plus money. Everyone's plus money. Red
Well,
Bull's
that makes-
plus. Well, Checo's so far back.
No,
Yeah, you're
that's
right.
an-
Actually, this is interesting. Do we just see 3 constructors on the podium because everyone has a teammate that's gone?
Yeah, but I mean, okay. So if you were gonna bet, if you were gonna make a bet, both cars podium, you have to take Red Bull, right?
Because Checo's in 13.
Well, I mean, like it's hilarious to think that you've got a guy in 7th and 13th, and they're probably the best odds, though, are they not?
Yeah, 175.
Right. Yeah. So that's kind of an acknowledgement, right?
I know. What a weird. Yeah, what a weird.
What is it? Plus 175?
Yeah,
Like that might be.
but do we like Checo
Phenomenal.
13th?
Oh man.
He's got to get
So-
through. He's got to get through George. Both McLarens, I think that's doable. That's easy. Gasly's probably easy work for him. And then he's got
Yes.
Max ahead
Okay.
of him.
How about this? Yes. Yeah, I do.
De Vries.
Yeah. So let me just. I'm not going to get into all the weird data crunching that I did, but I still think that we talked about it at the beginning. That Spa was still probably the best indicator of pace. It seems to be, at the very
Yes,
least. And
yes.
and I obviously there's a bit of strategy that's being deployed by Red Bull with a more downforce oriented setup. I know that was Max's car. I don't know if they're doing the same thing with Checo. That was just his feedback. But I would assume that it's probably a fairly similar strategy for both of them. Points. And so there was a pretty significant delta between, not significant, but there was enough of a delta between both. Well, certainly Carlos Sainz, like Charles was off the pace in Spa, but Carlos and George, in terms of their mean lap times, were not like much lower, but lower enough. So Sainz is going to come back. Russell's in 2. So, do you have enough time? Is there enough track for Perez to pass Russell? So you've got Max in front. He's
Checo in the from 13th into 2.
into 3. Into 3.
Are you talking before turn 1? No.
No. I'm talking like finishing position.
Oh.
I'm trying to like extrapolate like what's going to happen with his pace advantage. He's in front. So he starts in front of Carlos, which is massive. So the only person that really is going to give, in theory, any trouble to him is George Russell, who was already talking about being slippery all weekend. We already talked about the fact that they don't have
But he was good
an
in Spa.
opportunity. He was good in Spa, but he wasn't faster by relative race pace than Sergio.
No,
Like George-
Checo, but George was
George gained
91%.
gained a
Checo was
position.
95.
That's what I mean, but he's still faster. Like I guess my point is he's still faster, and that the pace advantage should be amplified on the circuit. Is that fair to say?
Between Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've got. Let's not worry about Leclerc. Like he can finish 1, 2, or 3. Let's not worry about that.
Which he probably does.
Which he probably does. Max is gonna finish 1 or 2, unless he crashes. Like there's no he will.
just on fire,
He's
yeah.
so much faster. Like he's so much faster than everybody. So then who's finishing with Charles and Max? It's
Vegas says it's George.
Vegas says it's George.
And then Checo's plus money.
So okay, so what's the
Checo's
what's the gap?
125 plus 125.
And what's
So
George?
So from going from Checo to both of them, you only get an extra plus 50. Like Checo alone podium 125, Checo and Max 1.
Yeah, but you might as well take your extra
That's
plus
what I
50
mean,
though.
yeah.
You might as well take your
No,
extra
I
plus
know,
50.
I know.
Right?
I just find
yeah.
it funny.
That is well. It's God.
And then
these
signs.
bookmakers-
George
these
is
bookmakers,
minus
they're so good.
128.
Sorry,
And
George is
minus
minus
100.
money. Checo's plus money. I mean that's a pretty big acknowledgement of George. Like that's like
They like George.
who doesn't like George? George is the man.
I
Like
know,
I'm not
and,
saying
and he was good in Spa.
but he wasn't faster than Checo. Like that's just my point. He was
and
good at
Geor-
Spa. He was great at Spa,
And to
but
be
he wasn't
fair-
faster than Checo.
George's odds would get inflated, or I get they would get worse for us because of his reliability. That's factored in. Like they know George
Without a doubt.
he's finishing.
Yeah.
His car is going to make it through all the laps of this
Yeah.
race.
Now, I mean, he's slightly more reliable than what are they thinking reliability in terms of reliability? How much more reliable from a bookmaker's perspective is the Red Bull or is the Mercedes versus the Red Bull? Because that's like we're splitting hairs almost at that point. Not that I'm not acknowledging the superiority of the reliability of the Mercedes because it is still
Red Bull's kind of figured it out. They're not Ferrari.
It seems like it, and he's got the new. He has a new. Was it the ICU or is that what he took? What did he take?
You know, I didn't write them all down.
Jobs. Come on.
A
You have
bunch
what do
of
you?
people
You
took
have,
gearbox.
you have
I
the
wrote
remarkable.
I wrote the
forward.
places. I know. I didn't write the component that they had to replace.
Come on, man.
Checo needed it because he needed last week when he crashed. They put a used engine in his car, so he was always going to need a new engine.
Yeah, and that would explain kind of why he was a bit off the pace last weekend too. Right?
Definitely. And
Like that's a big thing. He's fit. He's finished 5, and he probably in a Uzi Red Bull, he's still 5 in a Uzi, right? Like he's still 5. Like he's obviously in that top 6. I don't know. What do you think? Like to be honest, the more I can.
What's the double both cars? I want
What's both top
cars
6? Like
points.
what's both top 6? Like are we just gonna take
Alpine both points is minus 120. That's what I wanted. That's what I was just looking for there.
Okay. I mean that's always a good bet.
I came into this thinking we ride that until they prove that it's not worth it.
That's always a good bet.
Now
Both
they're
cars top
did I get
6.
this right? Oh, they're 6 and 14. That's both top 10.
Okay, okay, how about this, chaps? How about this? If we want to dump, we dump on minus 250 both Red Bulls top 6. Like that's it. You never. Okay, so let's acknowledge that that's a minus 500 bet every week. The only reason we're getting minus 250 is the acknowledgement that they have to go through a couple of cars to get there. 7 and 13. Like, what do you? Put half the fucking pot on that.
What is it?
500 on minus 250.
But Lewis in 19th in a car that doesn't suit.
No.
what's-
No, Red Bulls. No. Listen to what I'm
Red
saying.
Bull.
Red Bull.
I thought you
Red
said
Bull.
Mercedes.
No. Buddy, minus 250 for the Red Bulls to finish top 6. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I think we dump.
You gotta dump on.
I gotta look at this with my own eyes.
You gotta look at it with your own eyes. You gotta dump on that, and then we can do something with Max. We can have fun
I
with
already
Max
wrote
with a
down the
different bet.
Alpine. So minus
Okay,
250.
put it down. Yeah,
Wait,
put it down.
Oh yeah, they're slightly more favored than the other two.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, Red Bull minus 250.
dump on that. Like we gotta dump on
That's
that.
the dump.
Yeah, that's
Top
that's
six.
that's the primary bet right there for sure.
Minus 250. Okay, I like that. That's the primary.
No fades up. Yeah, I'd like to see the fades come up. Minus 120.
Hold on.
Minus
is the,
120. I would fade both cars to finish. Both cars top 10. McLaren. I would fade that so hard.
What is it?
It's not up. It's a minus 120. Yes, you know
Well, both
it's
cars,
going to be a plus
Oh yeah,
money.
the
now.
no is going to be.
Yeah, you know.
You think it's a
could-
plus money on the no?
buddy chaps.
That might be minus both ways.
Yeah. No. But okay, would you?
But
what's
I like that. Has Danny Rick been in the points all year?
He's sneaked in a few times, but I would fade that. How about, okay, so can we acknowledge also that I see some minus 300s on the board? Like minus 300, I mean, you're not getting the massive return, but you could still dump on a minus 300. Ferrari and Mercedes, like, is Lewis going to get into the points? Probably. Right? Minus 300 for Mercedes to get into the points?
I know, I see the same thing. I'm just looking through our sheet. Where does
Like,
Lewis
how did we-
not hit points this year?
Well, he was off the track one time.
Imola opposite. Yeah, not including DNFs. Imola's different kind of track.
It was a different car at that point, too.
I mean, yeah, it's almost too far back to be relevant.
I'm looking like Austria ahead.
He hasn't been out of the points. Yeah.
How could he be? How could he? He's in a Mercedes. He's not going to be out of the points. Like, let's be honest here. Like, I get that this is not, like, I know.
But even, I guess, so
they're not winning the race. It's fine. They're not going to win the race.
He started 15th, and it's too far back for it to be really relevant, but he started 15th and still got to 10th. I was looking for something where he started back of the grid and actually came through. Their car is just not quick. Well,
no, I know.
Getting better.
Well, it's not quick, but it's still like fast. it's still somewhat fast.
Do we like the Mercedes to both be top 10 more than the Red Bull's top 6?
No.
But
No.
Vegas likes it more, which is interesting.
I don't. Well, I think that's maybe that's a shout out to the reliability.
And
maybe.
Checo's been struggling lately.
Maybe, yeah. I think that there's still an enormous pace advantage that the Red Bull has that maybe didn't show up. To be honest, for Checo, it really hasn't shown up in practice sessions and qualifying. Like, he has not shown well with one lap time. But the results are still, they're not
Except
like
for he got pole once. Where was he? Monaco.
Well, I'm saying recently. Like, I'm saying, like, I'm saying more. Yeah, I'm saying more. Yeah, like he's been, but he's still finishing. Like, he's still in the top 6. He's still finishing 4, 5, 2, 5. This is a pace track. I don't know. Like, it's just, I know he's got to come from 13, but he's still going to be, I don't know. That to me seems like it's an easy bet. I think we've made the decision that we're on that, but now this both cars finished.
We need the nose to come up. I'm kind of with you, McLaren. Both cars, no.
Yeah,
it's minus 120.
So you've written down the minus 300 for the Mercedes, right?
I wrote down Red Bull top 6 250, Merc top 10 minus 300, and I also wrote Alpine top 10 minus 120.
Okay.
And it's obviously less likely. I would prefer
Chaps,
positive.
Did you write down over 17.5 cars classified?
I didn't.
Just write it down. This is the first time I'm saying that the Alfa Romeo is not going to blow up.
I disagree.
I know you disagree. But maybe we don't take those bets. Like, maybe we find something else we want that's a little bit more interesting in the plus money, but
I'm getting the odds again, minus 138. Like, can we have, drivers to classify, teams to classify? Is that up yet? To be classified? Oh, here, team classified. Where's the alpha?
It's got to happen.
Oh, this is exact, though. I don't want the exact.
No, you don't want exact. You just want the constructor to three-way?
Classified drivers three-way, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's this?
Oh, he's
over
got
17 gets the same odds. No, this is under 16. Yeah, this is the three-way for the
Oh, that's just a three-way for what I was talking about. That's the over-under. Okay, gotcha.
This is the part of the show where we just dive into the books.
Yeah, so we can't.
Less discussion.
So we also can't not take. So we've got both Red Bulls. So the dump is minus 250. The fastest lap and win the race for Max is plus 100. We can't not take that, right? You're not going to turn away plus money for Max. You already gave the rationale that he's probably going to be out there on new softs at some point.
Yeah, the only thing that counters that is they've gone with the more downforce setup.
You don't think that makes him as fast?
But like, over the course of one lap, if Leclerc's dropped to third, let's say he's dropped to fourth, and he doesn't have a podium anymore, then they put him on the softs. Ferrari has the capability to just decide that they are going to go out and be fastest over one lap.
So then a bet though on the board should just be Max to win at minus 150. Then we have to take that. We have to. We're not taking Max at almost even money.
I think we have
to win the race. Like that would be a way. Like, forget about the minus 250 because that involves Checo. Like, forget if Checo, God forbid, the guy drives off the track or something happens. I mean, you still have to take the minus 150 bet, right?
Yeah.
We have to take that bet. You'll never see that again.
It's so wild that he's minus money when he's starting in 8th, 7th.
Yeah.
Charles on pole.
But I understand from a bookmaker's perspective why you have to do it, but and part of it is probably that you've got the public dumping on Ferrari because it's at Monza, right? Like the people are
That's
just
true.
probably
They're passionate people.
they're going nuts, right?
The Tifosi is out. Did I say that right? Tifosi?
The Tifosi.
I don't disagree. You just don't get value on betting on the winner, but
We're not looking for value. We're looking to win.
Are you thinking that that's like our big bet, 500? No.
No, the 500
I
might be
feel
on the
better on the
minus
top
250.
six. Yeah, the top
Well, we could,
six.
yeah, we can mix and match here. Like we could be at like 300s each or something like
Well,
that.
yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean? Like
I'm just
300s across
trying
the
to-
board for the like. It might be. I was thinking literally 300s across the board, and then you've got the 100 at the end here to do what we want to do. Maybe it's the Alpines. Maybe we dump on the Alpines.
But you've got
Like
300 on the classification bet.
No.
No.
You can ignore the
Red Bull,
classification bet.
Mercedes,
It might be
top
four.
10,
It might be
Max.
4 bets, and it's 300s across the board, and then a hundo on the Alpines, maybe.
I'm still waiting to see exact finishing driver for Lando.
You want to keep the dream alive?
He's just
He's
he's so
not-
established as the
no,
seventh guy.
No. It's not. It's not the same. It's not the same. I think
And
it was.
and
It
he
made.
starts.
No, we had such like the rationale was so solid
Yes, yes,
for
I know,
the
I
pace advantage in front of him and the fact that he had the pace advantage. It just made sense. He was the cork in the bottle, like I like
Right.
to say. Right.
So now he's got Ricardo behind him. He's got Gasly behind him.
To be honest, this is
He's
the first
got
time that he's going to be able
Debris
to.
behind him.
Yeah,
If
he's
we're
got garbage.
thinking Checo gets ahead of him into the top 6, where does he finish this race?
We're not going to take. We don't need to. We might as well dump on.
I like consistency.
I don't think that's what we want to just choose ones that win, man. Like, come on. Yeah.
I know, Mike. I'm crossing out your classification because I do.
Okay.
I
You don't. That's fine. You disagree
disagree
with it. That's
with
fine. I want you to be sure. I want you to be sure.
Yeah. But I like the other 3. Like, if those are 300, 300, 300,
Yeah.
is it 100 on Alpine, just at minus 120? We're relying on Ocon to get up through the grid.
Yeah.
But he passes De Vries. He passes Zhou. Follows Checo and Max through. I don't know.
Here's an interesting bet. I don't know. Nah, never mind.
Well,
I was
what were
gonna
you
say.
Throw it
Well,
out.
minus 120 for Sergio to be leader at the end of any lap. Like we already have Sergio. Checo's already embedded in that minus 250. Maybe. I just thought that's curious. I mean, to me, I like the fact that he's minus 120 to be leading the race at some point. That actually makes me feel better about the bet. to be completely
Another
honest.
bet.
Yeah.
I don't like that bet though.
That's fine. That's fine.
He's like the 5th guy in a string of guys that would lead this race based on pit strategies. And this is an interesting implication. Like we've been on the 3 or more race leaders. This is a one-stop race. The preferred strategy here, and
yeah,
and
big
especially
time.
if we're talking at leading the race when you are on the preferred strategy.
Yeah,
you know,
big time.
back at somewhere in the midfield, guys will be taking 2 stops. See drivers swap off, and in fact, when the leader goes in, the second guy's probably just going to follow him in because the delta loss in
Yeah,
the pit
like you said.
in the pit lane is so big. Just stay on the same strategy. Just beat him on.
So let's go back to that race leaders then, just based on that logic that you just
Also,
used.
I mean, we've talked a little bit about how there's overtakes here. It's a weird track. Statistically, they were saying in the past, 30 races, pole has mattered more here than at Monaco.
What?
Right. Yeah, I had the same reaction. So the
What?
track, you think it's so fast in the straights, and I'm sure a lot of that was before DRS, or I don't know, maybe the DRS hurts it. There's
Maybe.
really only it boils down to there's 3 overtaking zones. There's the main straight. If you're fast enough, like the Red Bull just has better speed than other cars, it'll take it on the main straight. There's the braking zone into the chicane, and then
Yeah.
there's the exit coming out of turn 10, which is the second chicane, and that's where you start building up speed for the final corner and the full straight. So it's really only 3 spots where we see overtaking on this track.
So you just made a number of points that would indicate. Okay, so how about this? Like it's minus 225 for 3 or more race leaders. Like they're the books are like, I guess because of the mixed up grid.
I think it's because it's so mixed up. We don't have a Red Bull 1-2 where they're going to control that they both are the 2 race leaders for the whole race on a one stop. We've got teams that aren't talking to each other.
Is that an obvious choice then? Like, is it because of the mixed up grid?
Just to take the 3 or more. I mean, I was just saying that I saw it the other way, but
I know you were saying you saw it the other way. That's why I'm like, it's plus 225 for 2 leaders. Like, is that a flyer that we want to entertain? Maybe with like a 50 or a hundo.
I'm trying to find.
Like, I don't know. I don't know if that really is even realistic. Given, I get what you're saying in terms of how the strategy impacts the ability for some cars to get in front. Like that means it's Max. So it's Charles and then it's Max and then that's it.
Unless George gets it.
But he's not going to get it. George isn't going to get it.
Okay, so now I'm seeing it with Vegas. This race isn't as straight as Leclerc leads and then hands off to Max. There's no way.
No, because there's so much. There's still time. He has to climb.
Max has to go through. Now, I
But
thought
he-
that
buddy,
about.
yeah. You know what?
Where
No,
was it
maybe
Hungary?
not.
Where I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's going to take him 8 laps. No,
No,
he was on
one.
the back of the leaders on the first lap.
So plus 225, dude.
For 3 or more. It's not on my screen.
Plus 225 for 2 leaders. You have Charles, Max. It's not a crazy bet. It's not a crazy bet.
Do you remember we looked it up? Does it have to finish a lap or just take like the nose of your car goes in front for a meter?
It has to be. You have to finish. But what is it? It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Like,
it does to me because George
Why?
gets Leclerc on the chicane, but Leclerc.
No. He has
got
to.
the straight line. He's got the straight line speed. Instantly pushes back and gets the lead before turn 3.
No, you have to cross the. Yeah, it's
Right,
not. They're not like,
right.
oh, he was ahead for like a second. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
not how
okay,
it works.
so that
Yeah.
that leads me to think that maybe. Okay, so who else is in the way here? Ricardo doesn't take the lead of this race. Norris.
None of them do. None of them take the lead from Charles unless Charles does something stupid, which is unlikely.
That's
but
why
you're not going to bet on that.
This is our flyer
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, you're not going to bet on that. So Charles has superiority over every driver behind him except for Max, and once Max gets up to the top, when so this is the hardest part is when Max goes into the pits. Is Charles back in the lead? Probably, or is it Sergio at that point? Does Checo come? Maybe this is the problem.
I think Charles pits first.
Then Max takes the lead, but that's what I mean though. Then he
Takes the lead. And
they have to swap. They have to swap again, right?
But that's not okay. They don't count it as another new leader.
No.
Charles
But
takes it back.
that's what I mean though. Like so is this just going to be Charles and Max racing each other?
Maybe,
Probably.
actually. And
Probably.
we've talked a lot about the downforce on the Red Bull. Max is going to go longer on stint 1 because he's going to be able to manage his tires better.
Yeah,
and
I'm not worried about.
In general,
Yeah.
the Ferrari's been a car, just thinking broad, that has struggled with tire management.
I'm not worried about Max. Like Max is going to get back. He's fine. I'm not worried about that. And what I'm worried about is will Charles, when Max goes into the pits, because he's going to have a long stint, is Charles the guy behind him? That's the question. I think probably. Like who else is like all those guys coming from the back? Like honestly, Checo's the biggest threat.
Or
like his I don't see it that way. I don't think George. I don't know unless Mercedes really.
In Spa, George held on to his position. He gained a position, P5 to P4 in Spa, with good.
I know.
Pace.
I'm still thinking that it's just exacerbated, like the are exacerbated. I guess it's hard because Spa, like Charles was so bad in Spa too. Why was he bad in Spa?
Behind Checo.
Why was he so bad in Spa?
Charles?
Yeah. What happened to him?
He started 15th for
Yeah, but
penalties. Probably just traffic. I think he just struggled.
Oh yeah, okay. You're right. It was there was a lot of traffic. He got stuck in the DRS train for a long time, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Because
Gasly was leading a train that just everyone was stuck in.
Yeah. So I think I want to throw out his mean
So I think
lap
that's
time.
the kind of thing that maybe happens here at Monza, where that straight becomes irrelevant with a DRS train, and then and that's why I've been so focused on the chicane. It comes down to you have one overtaking opportunity into that chicane.
Yeah. So then this is not that bad a bet then. Like a plus 225. Like if guys get,
we've talked ourselves into it.
If guys get held up, Like if you get held up, maybe a hundo goes on this. Like maybe you just sprinkle a hundo on the plus 225.
3, 3, 3, and 1.
3, 3, 3, and 1. This is. Would you take this over the Alpines? I don't like. It's hard for me not to take the Alpines, to be completely honest. I mean, but
this is plus money.
This is plus money. You love the dogs. You do love the dogs.
Oh, do I like the Alpines more than Max winning the race?
No, man.
For both of them to be in the top 10 for the
No.
sixth race in a row?
I don't.
You don't.
No, I don't.
But
I
your
don't.
whole reasoning with Max is he's going to win every race, and we have an opportunity at better odds because he's starting 7th.
Without a doubt.
But
Yeah.
we're still picking the race winner when any number of things can go wrong for just one guy not to win the race.
How about the fact
against
that
the field.
when you take 2 cars versus 1 car, you just amplify your odds of something going wrong even more
Yeah,
significantly.
you got 10 grid positions. They
I
can
know you
put
have
them
10
both
grid
on
positions.
the wrong tire, and still they made the top 10.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. Is that? But do you think that this is not
And the
the
Ferrari
track
on
that would?
By
No, I get that.
pace, not by penalty.
No. But I'm
forget
saying, I get that. I understand that. But I'm saying this is not the track that. This is not the track and not the type of mixed up grid where you could make a mistake and go on the wrong tire and finish in the top 10.
No.
Like I don't
They're
think that.
softs as long as they go. And
I don't think they're going to make them. So I don't think Alpine's going to make that type of mistake. I'm just saying I think that the inherent risk is with the 2 cars versus the 1 car. Right? It just
Yep.
enhances the probability of something going wrong. Ocon is outside the top 10. I think he's the guy that I would be worried about, to be honest. Like Alonso, I think he's going to maintain his position. He's going to stay in there.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best drivers ever. So, but Ocon coming through the field, not that I don't think anything's going to happen. Like I'm on over 17 and a half classified drivers, but versus Max, just
Ocon, the reason I let Spa started 16th, finished 7th.
I know he's a great driver.
At,
He's good.
at only 54% race efficiency.
Well, I don't
They
have
weren't-
Chaps. I don't have a problem. Let's
don't know.
split it 4 ways. Let's do a 4-way split then. I don't have a problem with that. Like I can't like it's tough for me to knock the Alpines because of how consistent they've been all week. Like that was like a no-brainer. It seemed like.
Yeah.
Right, especially before the penalty to Ocon. Like it was a no. No, he didn't take. Did he take a penalty? Yeah, he took a penalty. He took a grid penalty. Yeah, he didn't qualify well. He never does, but he also took a grid penalty. He didn't make it to Q3. He got bumped out in Q2. Mm-hmm. But That's not a reason to not take him. That happens all the time to these guys for some reason. I don't know what it is.
They just get caught off. What? I'm out? How did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel so adverse to picking the winner. But
'Cause we've
maybe
never
let's
done
just-
it.
Let's just jump in.
Well, no, we never.
pick
We took Max to.
I mean,
We
I
took
was
Max.
on the very first race of the year. I had Leclerc to just clean. I picked the clean sweep.
No,
fastest
we took
lap, pole.
we picked Max to win it.
Did we have Max win at Spa? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
okay,
picked him
okay.
10. He was at 10, and we were like, he's going to set the fast. No, sorry, was it? No, we took.
No, we had him to win, but we didn't like
Yeah,
him
Spa.
to set the fastest lap.
No,
Which
we
he-
took that. No, we did.
which
We
he
took
did.
that. We took that. We took that.
He
We took him to
won
win
and
and set the
had-
fastest lap. He
won
started
and
14, and he won at the fastest lap. It was
Do we
so.
do we revisit that?
No, I just said that before, but then you were worried.
I know, but
But you'd rather take that for plus money.
yeah.
I don't have a problem with that bet. Like I mean, it seems like an obvious bet to me, to be completely honest. You thought you had some reservations because you thought the Ferrari might jump on. What are they going to jump on the softs and beat him? I don't think so. But
Well, they'd have to be way out of the race to go. They were
To
very
want-
clear.
to
The
want to?
preferred strategy here is soft tires as long as they go, and then hard tires.
yeah, so
The
is
rest of the race.
Carlos
No
going
mediums here.
so is Carlos Sainz going to end up in a? He might. We've seen they've been in that position before.
He'd have
actually.
he'd have to be running in.
Yeah, but
sixth
they
for him to be
have
able to
done
hit-
that.
because he's got to stay in the top 10 for that point to count. So then,
Yeah.
like there's a sweet spot where he's no chance of catching and can cover from behind.
You're right. Actually, that might be even more reason to look at this. What is it? It's plus money. It's plus what?
Plus
150? Plus 100.
I'd rather,
is-
you know what? Just from an optics perspective, I'd rather take Verstappen fastest lap and win. It just feels more educated than just a whimsical. Yeah, we're gonna take Verstappen to win the race. Does that make
Well,
sense?
No.
No.
Because you just take, like I said before, when you have the fastest driver with the best car with the best pit wall, and he's minus 150 to win, you just take him. Like, it's not you don't think about it. Now, you also probably should take that same guy with the best pit wall and the fastest car to get the fastest lap, right? Like, I don't know.
What's his odds just for fastest lap? Minus 138.
He's the favorite.
Yeah.
So why we should take that. We should take
Favorite
that.
for both. Let's do that.
We should take that.
3, 3, 3, and 1.
Well, no. Do you want to work the Alpines in? Because
I
like the plus 225. I don't mind that plus. Nah, we can. We've got plus money now with Max. I mean, we can.
The other one I was waiting to see, I don't know if it's up yet, is both McLaren's not in the points. The no's are not up yet. Uh-oh, is this my end?
No. I'm here.
Oh, okay, we're good, yeah.
I'm here.
What's the alpha? Hold on, let's just do some basic homework on what we've won on really quickly. What's the alphas both to classify? Both cars to be classified. Romeo plus 175 for no.
No, we have. It's fine. That didn't come up organically. I don't.
We just haven't got there.
We don't need to revisit it. No, I've been. That's the first thing I look at every time. What do you mean?
And you didn't like it? You didn't bring it to the table?
No, I didn't. I like the opposite of this race, Chaps. That's fine. We move past this. Classified drivers. Okay. It's fine. I understand your rationale. You get where I'm coming from. We don't have to fight on it. We could just move on.
Did you want to go minus 200 on VSC? That's still
no,
a guy
that's
with a clipboard that makes a choice. What kind of what are we doing here?
I don't think it's worth it. I think you deal with the actual number of classifications versus whether or not they're going to send the car out, right?
Okay, so what do we like best? Red Bull top 6. Both cars top 6.
Both cars top 6.
That's our best bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
So is that 5? I agree.
So, okay. So let's talk about this for a second, because there's one other thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
As a Red Bull bet. We have to look at it. I don't know what it is. Most team points. Can you find that? I don't know if it's up yet.
Yeah, I will, yeah.
And obviously the caveat to that is Max would be finishing 1. So it's really just like Checo versus Sainz in the end, essentially. And Checo's at 13 and Sainz is at the back. If that's like better odds than both top 6, we might as well take that.
They're minus 163.
Well, then that's the bet, buddy. I'd rather take that than minus 250.
So coming in first gives you 25.
Yeah, so Max is in first. He gets 25 points. Okay, how about this?
So
he doesn't even come in first. Leclerc comes in first. Max comes in second. Checo comes in. Where is Sainz relative to these guys? He might. Talked about it.
So that's what I was. So okay, let's say Max does come first.
Sure.
Charles is 2, so he's got 18 points.
Yep.
So then Sainz needs to finish 5th.
Sainz needs to finish ahead of Checo. He's probably not going to.
He would need 7 points to pass Max. Oh, right. 7 points more than whatever Checo gets.
Whatever Checo gets. He's starting at 13, and Sainz is at the back of the grid. Is that not an obvious bet? Is that an obvious bet? Is there something I'm missing there?
Ferrari's the next up, plus 125.
They're plus money. Am I missing something, or is that just an easy bet?
It's just 2-3 covers off first place very easily.
2-3 does, yeah, that's fine.
33 compared to 25.
Yeah, but that's not who's finishing 2-3.
So
Sainz is not. So Sainz is not finishing ahead.
It could be Max, George, Charles, Carlos. What would that be? 12 and 10 is 22. No, 15 and 12 is 27. That would cover 27. Max in first, and then you need Checo in 8th.
Dude, the math on that checks.
I know. I'm working through a couple of scenarios. I'm just
almost every time.
Throwing scenarios at you.
I like that you're doing it. I mean, I think the most likely scenario is that you've got Sainz finishing behind Checo, and that's it.
Leclerc win 25.
Sure.
Max gets 18 for 2.
Okay, but then
let's say Sainz goes off his rocker and gets 15, so they've got 40 points. Yeah, it'd be impossible to catch.
No, but yeah,
so that's a doomsday scenario.
first and third.
First and third would be doomsday scenario.
But we don't think that's going to happen, though. That's
No,
the
we
whole
don't.
point. Is that you make
No,
the
we
bet
don't
thinking
think
that that's
that's
not going to happen. We think that
Otherwise,
Checo has
we
more.
think-
We think that Checo has more pace than Carlos Sainz, and Carlos Sainz is starting 6 places behind him.
I think, well, for the record,
right?
I think Sainz has more pace than Checo.
Well,
Yeah, very clearly more pace.
No,
There-
you think
he's-
he has
he's
better
18.
one? He has better 1 lap pace. You think he has better 1 lap pace? That's irrelevant.
Well, he's got a faster.
We're-
He
No.
is a. Yeah.
No. That he has
He's
better
also
1 lap
faster in a
pace.
race, man. Carlos is a better driver than Checo.
I don't even know if we can make that.
Maybe this is recency bias because Checo struggled so much lately, but
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not. Okay, so not that my math
get
is
it.
like my math is not amazing, chaps. Like it's not. It's actually pretty standard math. But like when you look at the relative pace based on their mean lap times for the last 4 races, you've got Carlos at 91 and Sergio at 88. So he pipped him at France, which is fine. Like good for Carlos. Then in the next 3 races, Carlos is 89, Sergio's 92, Carlos is 92, Sergio's 95. Carlos was like way off the pace. I know the Dutch Grand Prix was kind of weird for him, but he was still way off because of some very poor lap times, like very high lap times because of some of the things that went on during his race.
Mm-hmm.
But Sergio's had him covered in the last 3 races in terms of his true average pace relative to
I'm with
the
you.
field's
I'm looking
pace.
at the deltas, yeah.
Yeah, right. And he's starting ahead of him, and he's
So
I mean-
Checo not finishing is a second doomsday scenario. There's very little that Max can
absolutely.
do to protect.
But that's a top
against-
6. But that's a top 6. Like that's the same thing with the top 6. He doesn't actually. The irony
Yeah,
of
you're
this.
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this bet is
The
the
irony
same
of
as
it-
the top 6.
No, it's safer.
It's
a
safer,
safer
but
bet.
with better odds.
It's a safer bet with better odds. It's actually weird. It's a safer bet.
I might
Because you could still win with. So if Max wins and Carlos and Sergio don't finish, you don't win the top 6 bet, but you do win this bet.
Yep,
Unless the Mercedes gets up there somehow. And
they'd have to be 2-3 to cover that.
like,
If George
how many
is
points do you
2,
get? How many points do you get?
18 for 2, 15 for 3.
No. But I'm saying like
25
does
for 1.
Lewis gets like 6 and 2, and there's no finish for. Yeah, that's probably why it's not really that protected. I guess you have to have 2 cars finish pretty well, but that's like every bet.
You need two cars to cover the winner. If you're going to get more points than the guy that wins the race, you need 2
Yeah.
cars.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like if something happens to Checo and something happens to Sainz, but this is a stupid
Then
example,
we're covered.
but
Then we're covered.
no, but we're not because like George
better
could
can-
finish 4 and Lewis could finish 5 and they could cover the winner, can't they?
3 is 12 points, 4 is 10 points, 5 is 8
No,
points.
you can't.
That's only
You
18.
can't. No, you can't
No,
come close to the cover.
you need
No.
3. You need
Okay,
3
yo,
and 4 to cover the winner.
We are dumping on this bet.
You need someone to finish 3 and 4 to cover the winner. And if
Are we-
Max gets fastest lap, then that extra point, he's got 26. He covers 3rd and 4th.
That's a good point. That's an interesting point.
Yeah, this is the bet.
are we-
This is
are we
instead of
dumping?
top 6. Is this the 500? This is the $500.
Yeah, well, all of a sudden, Rita, maybe this is like a $500.
I wrote
bet.
5 earlier, and I've just always come back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So this is in for sure. Red Bull, most constructor, most points. Red Bull.
Yeah. I bet you those odds are just changing, like just refresh them. They're probably like minus 180 now. People are probably dumping on that.
Well, the
No, it's not.
important
It's still
thing
same.
really is whatever we say the odds are for the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we place these bets, everyone. I'm not as concerned if we get worse odds and our account doesn't hit.
I
as
don't
much,
care.
But
It doesn't
these are the
matter.
odds for the show, for the record.
Yeah.
For
Race
the
handicap. Oh, they've pretty well put everything up at this point now.
The only thing I didn't
What do
see
you mean,
was, or I
rating
didn't
card?
find, I didn't look for it, was Lando 7th. I'm going to put that in my personal account, everyone. Lando, exact finish, 7th.
No, I think that's up there. Hold on.
I know, I'm still looking for
we're not-
Red Bull most points.
What do you
team
mean?
points.
Most team points, yeah. Most team
I
points.
just want the odds. Minus 163 is the bet. How's your time, dude? Because we got to do our segments real quick before we wrap up.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay,
I'm not in a rush. Fastest lap.
We're an hour and a half. Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, it's gonna take us it's a 2-hour process, I think, right?
Yeah. So Merc top 10 we liked.
We're not. Yeah, we're not souring. That's just again. That's a battle of attrition. Like, can you get your car across the finish line? Because they're faster than 10 cars on the track.
So do we like the Max win and fastest lap too? Just double up on the Red Bull? as a
Yeah,
fly.
we're not-
I mean, it's
we're
a
not-
plus 100 for a fire.
We're not going to not take that. Yeah, we have to take that. Sorry. So what? Yeah. What are we? What are we
That's what
looking
I'm-
at
that's
in
what
terms of our? We're trying to figure the spread right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're kind of zeroing in on our bets. So we'll figure out the amounts and then we'll do segments and then
Yeah.
win a bunch of money tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Let's go, people. Come on. For those that didn't catch us, we won 1,500, 1486 last week. Swept the board, 5 for 5.
Yeah, you round up on that every time. $2,000, 10. It's yeah.
What am I going to say?
$5,000. Yeah.
1487. How many syllables can I say in a day? No, it's
Too many.
1,500. Yeah, it's
I
too
know.
many syllables.
There's too many syllables in Verstappen. I get it.
Do we like? So is it just a 3? Do we just go with a 3-way?
No. We like the. Do we? Okay, so hold on.
Alpine
So we.
top 10.
I.
Until
You know,
they
like,
don't do it.
I'm almost kind of in that boat, to be completely honest. I mean, it would be strange to not see. Okay, well, we haven't really talked through that. So Alonso's not falling out of the top 10.
No.
Who is falling out?
De Vries,
Pretty well. Well, Nick's
Ricardo.
falling out. Ricardo,
Gasly.
Nick, Gasly,
Joe.
and Joe.
Like
And
this,
so
10, this top 10 is actually ripe for the picking, for
No, they
Sainz and Lewis to all come through.
Yeah, those guys are all going to be there, right? I'm just like, is Ocon going to get 9 or 10? Is the question.
Well, that's
he
what I was
probably
looking
will.
like immediately in front of Ocon. So he's got Checo who can follow through traffic.
Yep. He's going to get a
Follows,
he's going to
right?
get a toe. He's going to get a toe from him.
Right. Then
Probably, right?
Then he's got Lance, who's been quick. Lance and Seb. I mean, 11-12 for the Aston Martin, but I don't think they do it in the race. Show me that you can do it in a race.
They've actually been better. I don't know. That's weird, actually.
Stroll has been way better than Vettel. Like you look at their, actually no, they keep flip flopping their
Yeah,
efficiencies.
they keep flip flopping in terms of their average pace. They were.
So he's got those, and then he's got Latifi in 10th. Yeah, I think Ocon makes it through, man.
The only
What
thing.
is- what is Ocon top 10 instead of both? Did I look at that already?
No,
Like
I didn't
maybe
look at
if
that
he's
either.
the kicker,
Then
and you're
maybe
just
you
losing
just-
value on the Alonso side of things.
Yeah, because he's just sitting up there in it anyway. To be honest, I'm not. I don't know if I want to take a. What is that? Actually, that's a good point. What is the Ocon top 10?
Minus 175. And it's minus 120 for both. If you're not in love with it, we don't have to do it.
I'm not in love with it. I'll be honest. I'm not in love with it. I don't know why I'm not in love with it. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not in love with it. Like everything. Maybe we just take it because everything all week. It seemed like an obvious bet. It's certainly a favorite of ours because the Alpine is a reliable car. They're two quality drivers. They have a pace advantage over most of the mid. They have a pace advantage over the midfield, not over most of the midfield.
Over the midfield, yeah.
You probably are getting. No, we're gonna take them. You're probably getting like -1. So think about that. -120. They don't ever really, like we talked about, qualify particularly strongly or put down strong one lap times.
No.
But that hasn't stopped them from collecting points every week.
5 straight double points finishes. Like that to me is
Why
a streak,
would that?
a streak that you
Why
win
would
until
that
you lose
end?
it once.
Why would that end at this? Are they a better? So they seem to have. Okay, so what is the defining characteristic of this car? Is it straight line speed?
Honestly, to me, if I were to generalize, it's the car of balance. It's not the slow corner car like the Mercedes. It's not
No.
the straight line speed
Yeah.
like the Ferrari. Like it's
Yeah, it's a good
it's kind
balanced
of
car.
just not the best and not the worst at anything.
Yeah.
And it's reliable.
Yeah, it's reliable. I would say that they. Well, look, I'm looking at the relative pace at 56 and 54% at Spa, which is a good indicator.
And you're worried about Ocon. Look at his day in Spa.
No,
Starting
he did
16th,
so.
finished 7th.
I know.
On the poor tire choice. He was the guinea pig on the hards.
No, but that worked out extremely well for them in the end. That was the right choice in the end, right?
No, that's last race was where everyone thought that the hards were bad, but it ended up being the right choice. Belgium, it was the bad choice, and then no one else went on hards.
No, that was Hungary.
No, it was Dutch. Last week they thought the hards were going to be bad, and then the Alpines. Remember, we were texting. The Alpines went on hards
Yeah.
again.
No.
They were
But I'm
like,
saying
they've
like
done it
the
again.
no.
Did it
but
end up
they
being good
so,
in Belgium? I didn't think it ended up coming around for them. Like they
Sorry,
ever
did they
got it
go-
into a window.
sorry. Did they go? They for sure that they went on hards in Belgium for sure. Because they went. So they went. What I'm talking
I
about is
think
they
in
went on
Hungary-
hards in Hungary. Yeah. So they went on hards in Hungary and like go like fuck like they just screwed us
I mean, it
with
did.
strategy, right? And that's where if you look at the relative pace, they're in like the 25-24% range.
But that was because of the hards.
And that was because of the hards. Like that's not an actual indicator of the car's pace. It was a poor strategy.
Yeah. And
they
both
are
won the points.
Yeah, and they still got into points. They lost positions they qualified well on a downforce track, which actually I think is a sentiment to the balance of the car, like you said before, right?
Yeah.
I
like
can't not to, I think -120 is really good value for that, to be honest. Like I think that should be, if this was a regular race setup with a regular grid, this would be we've looked at that bet every week pretty well.
Yep.
We've never seen it outside of like maybe -150 to like plus
We
110
had minus
at range.
183, I think, 1 week.
Maybe, yeah. So, but if you think about it in terms of how consistent they've been, you would think that that's like a -200 or plus bet, like -200, -250. If it just keeps scoring, like why aren't the odds makers making the adjustment? And the reason that's happening is because they keep coming from everywhere. Like it's not like they're not qualifying in the same spots all the time.
They didn't plug this into their algorithm and say, "Oh, Ocon from P9."
They didn't plug it in. Right. Yeah, right.
We
so they have to. No, and it's an acknowledgement. So they haven't been giving them the odds that they probably deserve, because you have to acknowledge the grid position that they're coming from every week, right? So I think we just got to keep taking advantage of the odds that they're giving us. It's the same. It's just honestly the same concept as taking Max in this race. When you get the odds, you got to take them. I'm on the Alpines.
And
I'm
again,
not like they got.
We've said this.
I'm on the Alpines, dude.
We're at a point where the grid is like we know who's fast, we know who's reliable.
Yeah, we know.
We're at a point in the season. We know.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, we got 4 bets.
Okay,
we
so how we
minus 300. So Red Bull most points we think is our best favorite bet. Even though the Merc top 10 is the best, like the Vegas is most favorite.
I would like, I could do like a split. I could do like 3 and 3, or even 350 and 350, or what are we looking at there? Like 3 and 3, 3 and 3. What was the other bet that we had?
3 and 3. Max win in fastest lap for plus 100, and then the Alpines minus 120.
So why don't we do 3, 3, 2, 1? Or is it stupid to not take more money, dump more money on Max? Like it might be dumb not to dump more money.
The fastest lap is the kicker. More so than winning the race. Like this.
I completely agree. Like that's not even a question.
Did you see there was a clip of Lando getting interviewed Thursday or something when he showed up? They showed him the trophy and they go, "What do you think?" Yeah, it's a nice trophy. Like, what do you think? Is it yours on Sunday? He goes, "Oh no, it's Max's."
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So
he's like the whole grid knows it's Max's.
Well, so then, are we not dumping on them? Like this is hard. Like I don't. It would suck to lose. It would suck to be. How does he not set the fastest lap? He has the odds to set the fastest lap. Like he has an advantage starting in 7th. It's hilarious. Like it's funny to think about, right? But he does have an advantage starting in 7th. Sure. Like I don't want to overthink this.
All the pressure's on Ferrari to manage the strategy here from the lead.
I don't. They're going to screw up. It's the easiest bet probably ever to make. We should dump on it.
Do you think that's the dump?
No, it's not the dump though. The dump is. No, it's not. I'm saying like, is it a $200 or $250 bet, or is it? I will go between 2 and 3. I'd go between 2 and 3.
What if we go 3, 3, 2, but then we have 200 on the Alpine top 10? 3, 3, 2, and 2?
No. I would be better. I would be more comfortable with like 150 or 1 on the Alpine. Not that I don't think it's a good bet.
Let's start with there.
Let's start with the Alpines. Okay, do you want to start with 150 on the Alpines?
Just so we get over 100 return.
Yeah, I sprinkle on the Alpines, which I think is
I don't know actually.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna put 100.
Okay, hundo. That's fine. Put a hundo. Well, I think that's what we hundo on the Alpines to get into the top 10. So we might as well keep doing it.
We're doing the
right. It's been a hundo. It's been a hundo. Yeah, it's been a hundo.
So Red Bull most points, 350, 350, and then 200 on Max to win.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
350 Red Bull most points, 350 Merc top 10, both. And then 200 on Max to win the race with the fastest lap.
Yeah. I like that spread. Man.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Like, are we covered? So if Max doesn't get the fastest lap, I mean, if Max doesn't win this race, we lose our 2 bets. That's just
that's okay though. Like I don't like but so like if he's
in 7th, he's winning this race.
If he drives off the track and into a wall, what are you gonna do?
This I should have brought this up earlier. Where was Leclerc in these instances?
What do you mean?
In Spa, Leclerc started behind Max, so he didn't have to pass Leclerc to win the race. In Hungary, Max was 10th, Leclerc was 3rd, so Max had to get by him. Leclerc
He didn't
had
even
something. Leclerc something was it pit like.
They did strategy. It was a clown. It was a clown.
Which
clown
we can't
show.
discount. That probably happens to Leclerc this week.
It's extremely likely. Extremely likely
They're
that
gonna
they
have
screw
all
up.
the Italians screaming.
No, there's
Italian
way
words in
too
the
much
crowd,
pressure
and
on. There's
the
way
pit
too much
lane's gonna be
pressure
like,
on.
oh, what did you say? Hard tire? Okay, yeah, no.
It could easily happen. There's way too much pressure on. These guys are gonna blow it. Like with I'm not actually the reason that I was actually shying away from that. The two race leaders one is that like I don't trust Ferrari. Like I'm not. We haven't bet on Ferrari yet.
Lead lap 1.
We're not betting.
Yeah,
like we never bet on
came
Ferrari.
back to that. No. Well, dude, we talked
No.
last episode, and I'll repeat it again. If there's pegs that we want to weigh, we weigh reliability when we're putting our money down. And
Without a doubt.
Ferrari just hasn't proven that they can
No.
consistently finish races.
No, I would fade them. I would fade them if I got the chance. Is there a fade? Like we should just fade them that like both cars don't finish or something like that. that's the chances of both cars not finishing at Monza. It's probably minus money. I think the bookmakers are probably like minus 150. Both cars don't finish.
I don't have number. It's right at the bottom. There we go. Exactly 2 liters was plus 225.
No, we don't. We're not. It's not.
I don't think we need to squeeze it in.
No, because you have to rely on Ferrari.
Unless we take 100 out of the max win in fastest laps.
No.
And sprinkle.
No, but why? No, I don't agree with it. I've changed my mind on it.
But you don't have to rely. Oh,
yes,
you have
do.
to rely on Ferrari to not lose it to George. On lap 3.
That's a massive problem.
Yes.
No, and you also and that's not true.
Well, that's one way.
Well, one way, but you also need Ferrari to be the guy through after Max hits, which is not. That's not. Well, I don't know. That's going to happen. Like I was talking myself into it.
Unless Max, because of the extra downforce, can go 4 extra laps.
No,
and
builds
himself
comes
a
out
20,
and like honestly, that's like
a 20-second gap before he goes into the pits.
Literally so that's literally possible. And then the only risk is that like Charles loses it to George, which probably could happen. Still, like that could still happen. I just can't. I can't trust him. Yeah. Like imagine, I would be so mad. Imagine like right away. George just takes it from Charles, or not right away, but like we're going in maybe 2-3 laps, and like something happens, and George is ahead of him. Then you're like fuck, because then you knew it. You would know that Verstappen would take the lead. He would build like a 30-second lead and come out of the pits in front of everybody, and you'd kill yourself.
Is there George is minus 138 to win without Max or Charles?
That's an awful.
That's an awful plus bet. Money.
That's an awful.
13 is the
an awful bet.
Yeah, I don't even know why I clicked on this page.
George to win is minus money without Max in it. Who's dumping on that?
Without Max and Charles.
Without it. Okay. Sorry.
Without them both. Okay. And then Checo from 13th, and then Sainz from 18th.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my god! Like what an acknowledgement of the pace difference that is, eh?
But again, that brings me right back to we don't have to hide from the fact that the teams have showed us who's the fastest.
No, we know.
Who's the second fastest? Who's the most reliable?
Listen, I always, to be honest, I feel like it's when I'm writing my leans throughout the week, I do feel. Well, I haven't done this like and made bets a lot longer than I have. Do you kind of get taken aback that you're looking at the same types of things every week? Does that?
I mean, this season
cause you pause in some way where you go, whoa, like I'm always picking the same things. Like
not pause,
the same results keep happening.
Like, I think it's what I've been saying that I'm just realizing and not hiding from the fact that the teams have established an order.
Yeah, there is a defined hierarchy, but it didn't exist before.
Didn't exist. Well, I mean, first full hardcore season.
Yeah.
You had a battle at the top. You had a battle between Ferrari and McLaren for that next spot. Alpine and Aston Martin were close last year. Like there was a lot more unknown just based on week to week.
Yeah,
I think it's very established right now. I gotta take a quick leak. This is poor performance before we do our segments. We should figure out. Do we want to stay live for the segment portion or?
Yeah, why not?
We've had 2 people check in on us.
2 people. Oh my. Are you kidding me?
They stayed for a couple minutes.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah.
Probably like when I went, I blacked out my screen. They were like, okay. Okay, it's just one guy.
No, it's probably like a minute of us both.
Yeah.
Us both just like reading.
Just
the lines,
looking
not
at stuff.
saying
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's definitely, it was for that minute that you were just talking to yourself. For sure. They're like, this is just one guy. This is just one guy talking. They're like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here.
There's two cameras, but there's only one.
You were in my, I heard you. You were in my ear the whole time.